Let's record, shall we? Okay, so really cool thing here. One very positive aspect, fact, if you will, about these go-to training sessions, but about online learning as well is like for this class in particular, these sessions, these go-to training sessions are recorded. So if for whatever reason, if you can't attend the virtual session, maybe you have a doctor's appointment, root canal, whatever, um, something like that. The session is being recorded right now, so you will be able to check out the recording after this session ends. So what I do is I'll throw up the recording. Sorry, that sounds really gross. I will upload. That sounds better. I will upload the recording after the session ends, and you can find it in typically two places. You'll find it on the weekly discussion board. For example, the 1.3 discussion board, you'll find it there. And then you'll also see it on the 1.1 go-to training activity link. Like I said, it's not there now. So if you're searching ravagely, whatever, for it there, it's not there currently. You'll see it after the session ends. So just want to let you know. So that's kind of cool, right? So yeah, it's not like that's one of the benefits. If you're in a campus class and your teacher goes over something a little bit fast, you don't have to feel awkward and raise your hand and say, can you click back to the last 8 slides? I missed it. And everybody gives you the look of death now. You don't have to worry about that now because the session is recorded and you can always check it out later on and pause, fast forward, whatever. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Really, really important. If you happen to miss a live session, just make sure you watch the recording because as you will come to discover, I go over a ton of stuff during these sessions. So you don't want to miss out. You don't want to miss out because, for example, anybody a little iffy on this week's assignments? Anybody read over the instructions, the 1.4 instructions, the 1.3, and they're kind of like, what the heck do you mean? I'm not quite sure what you mean by this. Well, here's the thing. During these sessions, I'm going to go over these assignment instructions in step-by-step detail. So I'm also going to show you a sample. So that's pretty cool, right? I personally, I can go through a manual like nobody's business. I can figure something else, but it's nice to have somebody walk you through it. You know what I mean? That's just me. Anywho, so yeah, that rest assured. But that's the thing about these go-to training sessions. Make sure if you can't attend the live sessions that you at least watch the recording. Really, really important. The other thing is I can always tell who's watching the sessions. The second I open up your instructions, I can tell. I can tell. I can also tell, oh, this person watched the beginning and they kind of checked out towards the end. So yeah, little tip there. Anywho, right? Yes. I'm like that as Faldo. I'm total big brother. No, I'm really not. I'm not. But I will say this. I do call your parents. Like I usually like to call your parents the first week and I usually like to let them know, have a little conversation with everybody's parents and just let them know how you guys are doing. So yeah, just be mindful of that. I'm kidding. I don't call. Sorry. You're like, man, my teacher's just crazy. I'm really not. Anywho, okay, maybe a little bit. Let's move right along, shall we? So, yeah, don't miss out on these. They're really, really important. That is good. So yeah, watch these sessions from beginning to very, very end. Don't try to multitask. It's just, the funny thing about us mortals, we like to think that we can multitask. There's no such thing as you can try, but you won't get your other stuff done effectively. So that's just and again, I don't want you to miss out on something really, really important aspect of an assignment, like, hey, you're going to need to do this, and then you kind of forgot about it. But anywho, little tip. Now, another little important, just kind of FYI, the chat box, which you guys are utilizing quite well. The chat box. Here's the thing. During the live sessions, you'll be able to see the chat box. You'll be able to type in to your heart's content. However, during the recordings, you will not see what you typed out. So during the recordings, those of you who might be joining us during the recording, you won't see what everybody's typing. But don't worry about it. What I usually do is if somebody asks a really important question that pertains to the entire class or the assignment, I usually repeat it, or I will at least try to. So yeah, don't worry about it if you can't see the chat box during the recording. Cool. Everybody good? All right, cool. Hang on one second. All right. Sorry, I had to chug the coffee. Cup number 3, well on my way to cup number 6. Hey, don't judge me. I can quit anytime I want. Anywho, let's continue, shall we? We are recording, folks. So what say you, why don't we get started to the first GoToTraining activity? It's the very first activity of the class. Everybody huddle up. Everybody ready? Take a seat, settle down. Don't even think of taking that lazy boy chair because that is mine. I like to put my feet up. Everybody ready? Let me know. Everybody ready? So for this GoToTraining activity, all you have to do is you simply need to type the response in the chat box. That is it. I'm going to ask you a question. All you have to do is type the answer in the chat box. Okay, here we go. Here is the question. Who here has a tattoo? Who's got a tattoo? Whoa. Oh my goodness, that's mind-blowing. Holy moly, that is a lot of peeps. Keith, don't worry about it. There's still time. I'm kidding. You're like, my teacher told me to get a tattoo. No, it's fine. It's fine. Really. Tattoo artist. Holy, there's so many of you. I can't believe it. This is it's very impressive. I don't know what it was like for you guys. For me, the magic number was 18. When I turned, it was something I always wanted to do. But like when I turned 18, I'm going to nerd out on you and quote a film. I felt an irresistible pull towards a faraway land. And that's what it was like. I just had to get one. So I called up my buddy, and I didn't even have to say anything. He could hear my evil cackle from the other end of the phone, and he knew what I was up to. He knew. Immediately, he was like, okay, fine, I'll go with you. And he always joins me on my misadventures. So he picks me up, and he knew I wanted to get a tattoo. But here's the thing, folks. Back then, I'm not going to reveal my age, but back then, tattoo parlors were few and far between. And getting a tattoo, having a tattoo on your body, it was a big deal. So we had to drive out to it was just like way out in the boonies, if you will. So we drive out, and of course, out in front of the tattoo parlor, there's like 7 Harley Davidson bikes parked out front. So it was already a little bit intimidating. I'm a big Harley fan, by the way, but anyway. So I'm like, oh, can't be too bad. So we walk in there, and there's these Harley dudes. The tattoo artists are like, no lie, when I say Harley dudes, I'm not. There's no offense intended. They're very intimidating. I'm talking like 6'4" guys, sunglasses, indoors, long hair, long scraggly beard, leather vests. And so I walk up to this one guy and I ask him a question. I ask this tattoo artist probably the single most redundant question. What do you think these guys get asked every day? What do you think? What do you think they get asked every single day? Thank you, Osvaldo. Just nailed it. Does it hurt? Exactly. Okay, so picture scrawny Eddie, right? Picture scrawny old Eddie, and I'm asking, I'm looking up, and the guy's towering over me. I go, does it hurt? And I could tell he wanted to burst out laughing because he kind of had this little grin, and he looked over at his buddy, this other Harley dude, and he composed himself. I could tell he was a businessman because he composed himself and he thought to himself, I could tell his thought process. He was thinking, you know what, if I laugh at this little kid, I'm probably gonna lose his business. So folks, bear with me. I'm going to try to impersonate his voice. I'm horrible at impressions, but I will never forget his response when I asked if it hurt. So he goes like this. Well, the coloring kind of feels like a cat scratch, and the outline feels like an eagle claw. And I'm thinking in my head, well, yeah, I've been scratched by a cat before, but never an eagle. Anyway, it doesn't sound too bad. Hook me up. So I just dive right into the chair. I'm totally clueless, totally clueless. And folks, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened to Eddie. I must have gone to a happy place or just completely zoned out because, like, maybe like not even 10 minutes later, I wake up to my friend shrugging me kind of violently on the shoulder. And he's like, dude, look at yourself in the mirror. And I look in the mirror, and my face is blood red. And I look over, and the tattoo artist is drilling away at my flesh. And you know what else doesn't help, folks? It doesn't, the sound of the drill doesn't help. It's not a very comforting sound. It reminds me of the sound that you hear in horror films when when the protagonist is being tortured to death. Exactly, exactly. It's it anyway. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you have them done. Tattoos hurt, and I was in sheer agony. So I was like looking at my friend, and he's looking back at me, and he's like, "Should I have him stop, dude? Should I have him stop?" And I'm like, "It's fine. It's fine. I'm sure he wouldn't stop even if I begged him." So 3 hours later, or maybe I should say 3 hours later, I'm done with the tattoo. And I'm feeling so relieved and so confident and proud of myself. And then reality checks in, and I'm thinking, uh-oh, I have to make it home and make it past the mom. Anybody have Latin moms out there? Any Latin moms? No? Anyone? Okay. All right. So this is good. This is good. So if you have a Latin mom, you know that they have kind of a how should I call it? X-ray vision, a sixth sense, whatever. They something like that, because then I'm telling you what, the next morning I'm about to leave the house, have a long sleeve black shirt, thinking there's no way that she's going to see it. I'm out the door. I'm practically out the door, and I hear the voice. What is that? My mom's got a very thick English accent, bless her. She's like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Nothing, nothing. You didn't see anything. I gotta go. I gotta go. I love you. Bye." Mwah. And oh my gosh, I had to reveal the tattoo, but when I revealed it, folks, you would have thought that Eddie had murdered someone. There was sheer pandemonium in the Tapia household that morning. It was crazy. So much screaming. I can still remember. I can still remember. I'm like, they're like, oh my gosh, you're never going to amount to anything in your life. We're going to have it removed tomorrow morning. If you know anything about tattoos, having them removed is probably more painful than having them done. You know what I'm saying? It was anyway. Years and years later, they've accepted all my crazy ways, and the tattoos, and even today, tattoos are just not a big deal. So I share that with you folks because I want you to approach presentations in the same manner. I want you to approach them in the storytelling fashion, because that's what a good presentation is all about. Have you guys ever had to sit through a presentation where the presenter is standing at a podium with their little clicky in their hand, and it's just bullet point after bullet point after bullet point, and you're just looking and staring at a wall of words on their screen, right? Snooze fest, snooze city, am I right? Yeah. But here's the thing, when you share a story with an audience, your audience will remember that story. Stories people remember, facts not so much. A slide filled with bullet points, not so much. So I want you to think about that because, presentations are typically not fun. That's kind of like the gist I'm getting from the discussion board. And every time I read the discussion boards, it's month after month, I see these horror stories of people having to sit through these terrible presentations, right? Where the presenters, they're just not into what they're saying. Well, those days are over. Those days are over because we're here to talk about creative presentation. And I don't like to throw out that word just passively, without thinking the word creativity. I want you guys to think about that when you are constructing your first presentation. So remember that. Remember the art of storytelling. Notice how when I opened up, right? What was the very first thing I did? I started with a question. So when you start with a question, it's kind of an icebreaker, with your audience. But more than that, it's an invitation. You're inviting your audience to get on board to answer this question, And I kind of had the feeling that a few of you guys had a tattoo, but even more so, let's face it, even if you don't have a tattoo, I know, don't lie, don't lie, but I know that at some point in time you thought about it. You thought about it, right? It's okay. It's okay. You can be honest. Exactly. Making the audience the center point. Absolutely, Osvaldo. Good point. Good point. Yeah. Oh man, if I had the money, I'd have like my arms covered in tattoos. Anyway, I digress. They're a wee bit expensive. Anywho, so let's move right along. So let's talk about something else. You know this thing, everybody's familiar with it. Comfort zone? Anyone? You guys know what I mean by comfort zone. So here's the dealio. We're at this school because, we want to be creative. And in a school like this, when you're pursuing something like music production, film, digital cinematography, creative writing, whatever, in a school like this, there will be many times where you are going to have to step outside of your comfort zone. And that's all right. I want you to just tell yourself that right now. Tell yourself it's going to be okay, that it's going to make your work, your craft, whatever degree program you're in, it's going to make you stronger as an artist. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's okay to mess up. Absolutely. And you have to get into that frame of mind. Failure is okay to fail. It's totally okay. It's not okay to totally give up and not try. That's not okay. But, you might fail and that's okay. Get back up. Get back up. Totally. So when I was a wee lad at one point in time. I was in school and nobody told me this stuff. Nobody told me, and I swore from the top of Mount Nerd that if I was ever had the opportunity to share some insight, on some survival tips, I would do it. So I want to share these with you guys because I'd like to set you up for success. Not just in this class, but in Full Sail, because this is a different school. This is a very different school, and I think it's safe to say that maybe we got some resistance from our folks or peers or loved ones. But you know what? This is our dream. Yeah, this is our dream and our passion. So you got to go through it. You got to go through it head first. Full force, right? So I'm here to tell you right now, that one of the biggest obstacles that you're going to deal with in this class and in all your future classes at Full Sail is time management. It sounds, I know you're rolling your eyes. You're like, I thought he was going to say something major. But time management, it sounds so just kind of like, commonsensical, like a no-brainer. But time management is going to be your biggest issue. You have to have really good time management skills. Totally have to. No lie, no lie. Because here's one of the things. Here's one of the reasons why. Every class of Full Sail is 4 months. I'm sorry, four. Let me correct that because that's a major teacher fail. Every class at Full Sail is 4 weeks long. So that is going to fly by. You can't sign off. You can't check out for a week and then decide, all right, it's time to do my work again. No. At 1 week here is like 3 weeks in a typical college. So, yeah, so time management, starting your assignments as soon as they are available to you, man, you're going to be so much happier. So much happier. That thing about procrastination, not that I ever did that in my lifetime, but here in this school, oh, no, 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 no. If you start your assignment on a Sunday, if you start your assignment on a Sunday, let's put it this way. You're going to hate life, first of all. Nothing is going to make sense. Everything is going to seem super, super hard. Because, I mean, the assignments are challenging enough. They're very involved. But if you start on a Sunday, you're going to have what I like to refer to as those scream into pillow moments. Anybody have those? Those moments of sheer frustration. Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you. Good, good, good. I'm not crazy. Yeah, you might, if you start your assignment on Sunday, you'll be hurling your cell phone across the room many times against the wall. So yeah, I mean, unless you have a really great phone case, protective case, I don't recommend it at all, at all. So time management, remember that. You're going to hear that lots of times. Oh, this is something I found on the interwebs. I love this. I love it. It's got so many great, great qualities. And like I said before, some of this might seem very common sense to you, but it's so true. It's something you can take with you everything you do, every gig, every job, every course. Being on time, work ethic, effort, body language, energy, attitude, passion, 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 being coachable, doing extra, being prepared. I mean, maybe Michael's like, it looks military. I totally agree with you in some respect, but yeah, this is something that you can apply to so much, so much. Yeah, 10 things that take zero talent but will get you 100% respect. So yeah, screenshot this baby, whatever it takes. Remember it. It's the truth. All right. So let's talk about some of the devices they're using. So you might have already discovered that, some of you guys we don't require for this particular class, we don't require, one specific software or hardware. You might be on a PC, Mac, you might be on an iPhone, tablet, whatever. So, yeah, everybody is on something different. Everybody's using something different. But there are some must-haves, and Wi-Fi. Having your own Wi-Fi, that is definitely a must. So, yeah, you got to be able to access the internet at all times, or most of the times. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about online or this online school is, yeah, you can kind of work at your own pace, but there's deadlines. And because it's so accelerated and short, you really should be checking the class page every day, every day. So you don't want to miss something. You don't want to miss an important announcement or something like that. So I would say Wi-Fi internet is a must. So one thing I like to recommend, and you might already know this, but one thing, you don't have to do it right this second, but definitely after the session, check for free Wi-Fi in your area. Like whatever, do a little I don't know, little Google search, type in free Wi-Fi in my area, wherever you live. There's tons of places. That's the thing. There's really no excuse to not have Wi-Fi. I mean, it's great. Ideally, it's best if you have it in your house, if you have your own, but if you're in a pinch, it's good to know. It's good to know that, hey, oh, okay, I can go to the Burger King that's a block away from my house, or Starbucks. What are a couple of places? You guys know, right? What are a couple of places that have free Wi-Fi? Yeah, absolutely. Starbucks, Panera. McDonald's, good. These are good. Dunkin' Donuts, these are good. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Burger King, yep. I have used Burger King. I was, yeah, I was, I think, I don't know if I said this already, but I'm a film music composer, and I was trying to get a music cue to a director. And folks, I'm not the kind of person to call up a director and say, you know what, my internet's not working, but I can get you the cue next week. Is that all right? I don't like to say those. So I knew that there was a Burger King right down the road. I drove over there. Used their Wi-Fi, uploaded that queue. Director got the queue. I still got the gig. So yeah, it was a relief. It's good to know that those free Wi-Fi places are available, right? What's another? Oh, the library, of course. Taco Bell, yeah, cool. Wawa, that's another place. You're like, what did he just say? Well, the gas, you guys know. Walmart. Ooh, let's talk about grades. I need some scary music right here. Scary music? Yeah, let's talk about it. It's got to be done. Let's talk about grades, folks. You're like, dun dun dun. Thank you, Paul. Halloween theme. Yeah, love it, love it. Or better yet, the theme from the film Alfred Hitchcock film Psycho. Anyone? That's a really good one. Jaws theme, that's good too. So let's talk about grades. Okay, so here's the deal. You guys have to realize something. You are in an accelerated program. And like I said, each class is 4 weeks long. So there's a lot to digest. So you have to be at the top of your game. You might have been used to straight A's all of your life, right? So maybe the first assignment rolls around, you turn it in, you get it back, and what do you see? You see an A minus, or maybe a B plus, right? And you're totally devastated, and you want to quit. You feel like a loser, right? I'm telling you right now, if you didn't get the grade you wanted, if you got a lower grade than you had anticipated, it doesn't mean that you're a loser. It doesn't mean that you should quit. The only thing it means is that you may have overlooked something and the instructions. That's usually all, every time what happens. That you may have overlooked something, you forgot to put something or include something or add something, and that happens a lot. So yeah, I would just be careful when you're working on the assignments. Attend these sessions. Pay attention all throughout the beginning, from the beginning to the end, of course. Yeah. And just maybe have a checklist. Have the checklist when you're working on the assignments. Okay, look over the instructions. Make sure you got that. Okay, Eddie said I need that. I got that. Okay, I have that. All right, it's ready to go. You know what I mean? So yeah, do not be discouraged if you didn't get the grade you wanted. So it doesn't mean anything. I'm certainly, when I give your grades back, I'll give you a grade, but I will also let you know where you lost points and where you earned points and that kind of thing. I'm never going to say something like you're a loser. Leave while you're while you're this is not the degree for you. No, I'm never going to say that. I'm just basically going to tell you where you missed, or hey, you did this really well, but you forgot to include that. That's all. That is all. Absolutely, Paul. I like that. True winners learn from losses. I'm satisfied with a B plus. Hey, you know what I'm saying? B plus, not bad, and not bad. And when you think about what you achieved in this short amount of time, you got this done in a week. Yeah, that is, a B plus in this school is an A in most schools, because you got more done in a less amount of time. Anyway, so yeah, you will be challenged. You will be challenged. So you might hear yourself say this a lot of times. I've never done this before, and you know what? That's okay. How lame would it be if you went to this school and you were just doing the same things you did when you were a freshman in high school or elementary school, whatever? That would be That'd be nuts, right? You're going to be challenged. You're going to be using programs that you've never used before, and that is all right. It's going to make you stronger as an artist. But also keep up with the assigned reading, any assigned videos that you have to watch, attend these go-to training sessions, attend them. If you can't attend them, watch the recordings. Yeah, if you do this, you'll be in good shape. Yeah, like I said earlier, the feedback, I'm always going to be feedback on everything that you turn into me, but don't take it personally. Do not take it personally. I'm going to tell you like it is. I'm not going to attack your character, right? Nothing like that. I'm not a mean ogre by any means. But yeah, don't take it personally. I'm going to tell you where you could improve, and that's it. Yeah, you can't learn without critique. Absolutely, I agree. I agree. So make sure if you haven't already, attend online orientation. Start your assignments first thing in the week. First thing in the week. Even if you can't finish the assignment, even if you can just open up the instructions on Monday, read them over, because that way, you know what? You know what's ahead of you. You know what you're going to need, and so on. So what you never want to do is completely check out, completely sign off, right? After you, or just start on the weekend. Never, 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 right? Allow yourself a full week to work on it. And you're going to find your groove. Try to find it sooner rather than later. But I mean, you might discover you're a morning person. You might discover you work best at 5 a.m. or 11 p.m. Personally, I have to do my recording and composing when everybody is asleep. My wife and I, we have one son, but and people are always like, when are you going to have another one? And we're like, no, our one son counts as three. He is a bundle of joy and energy. And so when he's awake, there's it's just laughter and screaming and thanks to Fortnite, there's even louder screaming. Holy cow, is there ever? Anyway, don't get me started on that. So so now let's talk about weighted assignments. What does Eddie mean by that? So you may have noticed looking at your activities, and you might have you might be able to look at them all or just the week one assignments. At any rate, I'm going to explain to you that every assignment you have is weighted differently. You might see one that's worth 5% of your grade. You might see one that's worth 15% or 20%. Each assignment is weighted differently. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. So maybe one week you're just having a rough week, right? You're exhausted, you're really tired, and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I don't want to do Eddie's dumb assignment. He's dumb anyway. So I'm just not going to do it. To heck with him. And you don't turn in your assignment. You don't do it. But you'll later discover that that assignment was worth 20% of your grade. So unfortunately, that's going to ding your average quite significantly. So yeah, ideally you want to turn in everything. Do your best on everything. So don't let that happen. If you find yourself having a rough week or something's not working out, some assignments just not clicking, reach out to me sooner rather than later. Cool? Everybody do that. If you like, I'm being for reals. All right, cool. Good. Yeah. Because I can help, but I can't help when it's too late, right? All right. So yeah, go to training sessions. Don't miss these. They are so important. I go over a ton of stuff. And like I said earlier, I often show you student samples. I'm going to show you a sample of the 1.4 assignment. So you're going to see exactly how to do the assignment. All righty. Okay. Anybody ever hear of Lynda? Lynda.com? Lynda is awesome. Oh my gosh. So all Full Sail students have a free lynda.com subscription. So how can I explain Lynda? Oh yeah, well, let me real quick. So yeah, another major tip that I want to impart to you folks is make sure you're checking the class page and your Full Sail email every day, because I often post announcements, important information. You might be getting some emails from your online student liaison or me. Maybe there was something wrong with your assignment and I need to get in touch with you. So you won't know that unless you're checking all this stuff. So make sure you do that. Speaking of online student liaison, who here has been in touch with them? Anybody already speak with their OSL? Oh, cool. Quite a few of you. This is good. This is good. So yeah, if you haven't heard from them or haven't spoken to them, just check your email, check your voicemail, because yeah, they are sure to reach out to you at some point this week if they haven't done so already. So online student liaisons, they're basically, I mean, they're awesome people. I know so many of them. They're a great resource to have in your corner. If you have a question about anything, they will certainly have it, or they will direct you to the people that will have the answer. So yeah, keep in touch with them. They're really nice. Kind of like your cheerleaders or your Yodas. Yeah. Um, yeah. So yeah, just make some time for them. Chat with them for a little bit. Let them know what's up. All right. Wait a second. Sorry, folks. All right. Okay, so let me explain what lynda.com is. Lynda.com is kind of like how can I all right. It's a gold mine of high quality video tutorials on essentially any and every topic, subject, software program that you can imagine. If you're anybody in audio production, music production, anyone? Okay, cool, Keith. Couple of you, excellent. Okay, so let's say you want to learn Pro Tools. Well, lynda.com has got tutorials on Pro Tools. Let's say you're curious about mixing and mastering. lynda.com has got some tutorials on that. And they're not like, some garbage, just homemade tutorials. These are really high quality, really good tutorials. They also have tutorials on for filmmakers, Final Cut Pro, Adobe Premiere, Final Draft, InDesign, Photoshop, lots and lots of tutorials. I can go on and on. I don't remember all of the programs, but my my point is utilize this website. Utilize this website because they have a lot of information. And the way you got to look at it, folks, is use it now. Don't wait until you get to that class to use it, because time flies. Time flies. But if you start learning about that subject, about that software now, hey, when you get to that class, guess what? You have an edge over the student that has not, right? I'm all about the edge. Anywho, so yeah, check it out. And the way to access lynda.com for free is let me type it in the chat box. Hang on one second. So here's what you do. You go to FS Connect. You don't have to do it right in a second, but I'm basically just showing you how to access it for free. Because if you go to Google right now and you just go to lynda.com, if you access it that way, they will try to charge you. But if you do it this way that I'm showing you, it's free. So go to FS Connect. Once you're in FS Connect, scroll down, go to the library. Once you click on the library, you will see lynda.com. Whoops, I spelled it wrong. Let me, library, lynda.com. Okay, there you go. Everybody see that okay? So that's how you access it for free. FS Connect, library, lynda.com. Oh man, it's awesome. It is awesome. Not to mention, lynda.com has lots and lots of tutorials on presentation programs. So maybe you haven't used PowerPoint in a while and you kind of need a refresher. Well, guess what? Lynda has tutorials on PowerPoint and Adobe Spark and Keynote. Lots and lots of programs. Check it out. Check it out, folks. Really awesome website. Okay. So moving right along. So yeah, be resourceful. I mean, I hate to sound like a big, old timer nerd, but you guys, I shouldn't say you guys, but our time, we have so many things available at the snap of a finger, at our fingertips, right? Everybody knows about YouTube, but there's a lot of great stuff on YouTube. I will admit there's some garbage on YouTube as well. But once you sift through the garbage, you'll find some really cool stuff, right? So anyway, my point is just be resourceful because the answer is out there. I was all right. I got an example for you. I was working on a music cue the other day, and I ran into an issue in Pro Tools. And sure, I could have picked up the phone and wasted my time there, but I jumped onto YouTube and I found a workaround within seconds. Within seconds, I found like 5 different videos, and I was up and running after 5 minutes. It was awesome. So yeah, cool. So, okay. Now, little heads up. Like I said, I know you guys have some questions about this week's assignments, which I will be talking in more detail as the session progresses. But right off the bat, let me just tell you that this week's assignments, they do not require any kind of recording or any use of presentation programs such as PowerPoint or Keynote or Adobe Spark. Does that make sense? Just want to put that out there right off the bat. Okay, cool. So yeah, for this week, you don't have to use anything like PowerPoint or Keynote or Adobe Spark. So yeah, in a little bit, I'll show you exactly what program to use for the 1.4 assignment. Cool. Yes, indeed. Indeed, Amy. I'll be talking about that in a bit. Amy just pointed out one of the discussion posts is due Wednesday. You are correct. Correct. Okay. So next now, okay, let me rewind. All right. Okay, everybody. Now I'm going to give you some information, but you have to promise not to freak out. I am just giving you this info because I like to prepare. I like to give a little heads up. A little heads up as far as what's coming down the line. So this is just some information for the weeks to come. So for example, next week, you're going to have an assignment that does require you to record your voice. Hey, I know you're thinking, I hate the sound of my voice. No. Folks, nobody sounds nerdier than me. I challenge you to find someone. Okay, maybe Ned Flanders, but so yeah, you won't have to worry about recording your voice until next week. Now, in week three, that's when you are going to be creating your first full-blown presentation. You're going to be making kind of a slideshow using a program such as PowerPoint or Keynote or Adobe Spark. Right? So that's in week 3. So week 2, you're going to have an assignment that requires you to record your voice, but in week 3, you're going to be making a slideshow with audio and visuals. Now, I'm going to go over that in much more detail as the weeks to come. I'm just kind of giving you a little heads up. That way you can maybe explore some programs. You can explore your whatever device you're using, maybe when you get out of today's session, just see, okay, what kind of mic capabilities I got going on? Do I need a microphone? Does my iPad have a microphone? Whatever the case may be. So I would make sure you have a mic and audio recording capabilities. Anybody ever heard of Audacity? Anybody? You might use Audacity. You might find that you don't even need it, but a lot of students use it. Um, it's really user friendly, really great program. How can I explain it? It's kind of like GarageBand. What it is it's a free online audio editing program. Um, yeah, really good program. Like I said, lots of students have used it in the past. If you find that you need to not just record something but also edit that recording, then Audacity might be your tool because it's free and free is awesome, right? So anyway, yeah, I'm just putting that out there in case you want to start exploring it. All right. Okie dokie. All right, moving right along. But it ain't awesome. Okay. So yeah, my whole point by sharing this information with you now is just so you can maybe after today's session at some point just start testing everything out, see what you got, see what you might need. Um, as far as next week's session goes, a lot of people they just use their phone. They use their phone to record their voice, and hey, it works out just fine. It, I don't expect anybody to go out and spend thousands of dollars on a Neumann mic. No, you don't need to. You can get the job done with your phone. It works just fine, just fine. All right, so moving right along. Okay, so yeah, just a little bit more. And again, this is not to overwhelm you with you don't have to stress. This is just like I said, I'm just trying to give everybody a subtle heads up as far as what you might need in the weeks to come. So for week 3, when you make your presentation in week 3, your slideshow, you won't even need to film yourself. You don't. In fact, the presentation isn't live. Let me repeat that. The presentation is not live. So everybody breathe a sigh of relief. And like, ah, oh, yes. So everybody is so ecstatic with relief when I reveal that info. So yeah, so that's kind of cool, right? So if you record your voice and your dog Cujo, starts barking at the mailman in the background, you can guess what? Edit that out because you're not live. So that's kind of good. That is kind of good. All right. So yeah, for the week 3 assignment, that's when you will be needing a program such as PowerPoint, Adobe Spark, and Keynote. All righty. Speaking of presentation programs, who here has fired up their Office 365 account? Anyone? Ooh, yes. You guys are on it. I shouldn't say guys, sorry, folks, peeps. You know what I mean. I say guys too much. Okay, so anyway, I digress. Office 365. Office 365 is free to all Full Sail students. It's kind of a suite, and it contains programs such as Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel. So if you didn't have those programs prior to this class, guess what? Now you do. All you got to do is fire it up, fire Office 365 up. It shows you instructions on how to do it on the 1.4 activity. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you do that. Just go to the 1.4 presentation analysis activity and you'll have it. So yes, so Office 365, it's got Word, it's got Excel, it's got PowerPoint. Yeah. So, okay, moving around. Okay, little warning though. So if you're trying to use PowerPoint for a mobile device, like I don't know, iPhone, iPad, whatever, it'll let you make a slideshow, but you will not be able to record within the program. See what I'm saying? So just letting you know, ahead of time. So if you're having any kind of issues with setup or any technical issues whatsoever, this is the number to call. Screenshot this baby. You will need this number. Because let's face it, I don't care how great your computer is. You can have the top of the line computer. Your computer at some point will crash. It just That's just life. Life does that. So if you're having any kind of technical issues whatsoever, this is the number to call, FSO support. They handle all kinds of tech issues. Cool? And I need to stop saying cool so much. I'll just say radical. All right. Okay. So yeah, a little a little favor, if you will. Please, folks, don't turn anything handwritten. I'm being for reals. So like your 1.4 assignment or any assignment uh, after that, please don't write, hand in or take a picture of it. Take a picture of something you wrote in a spiral notebook. I know that makes me sound like a real big jerk, but the problem is that, well, yes, sometimes I just simply can't read the handwriting, but more often what happens is that whenever we take a picture of something, especially handwriting, it never turns out very bold. And so, yeah, it is difficult to read, and I more often than not cannot read it. So, yeah, there's no reason why you should be turning in handwritten work when you got something like Office 365. So yeah, type everything out. Everything should be digital. Cool. I did it. I shouldn't have done that. Stop it, Eddie. No, you stop it. All right, I'm back. Okay. Now, a little other tip. Okay, like you never do. Like you never argue with yourself. Dr. Jekyll. Okie dokie. Okay, so FS Connect. You want to be checking that every day because, if I mean, whether you're on campus or online, there's always something going on here at Full Sail University. There's never a dull moment. There's always an industry panel that you could be attending. You could be taking advantage of. You really need to start networking like there's no tomorrow because you're going to graduate before you know it. That sounds just absolutely nuts and bonkers, but it is so true. This time will fly, so you never want to be in the position where you're going to say, man, now that I started this indie game development company, I need a sound designer. And I remember this one guy in my class, he was a really great sound designer, and now he's won all these awards, but I didn't talk to him. I should have. So you don't want to be in that position. Start networking. Start attending these workshops. There's so much that you can do as online students. So do it. Do it. They really do. They just fly by. Okay. So like I said, a lot of students they use tablets, smartphones, but for this class you don't need a high-end computer. You don't The programs that we're using, what we're doing in this particular class, you're not going to be doing anything like, making the next God of War, something like that. Sorry. uh, uh, the programs that you'll be using here, they require, some people are using tablets, some people are using their phones, and they get the job done. They get the job done. So don't worry about, for this class having a high-end device, but you will need a device of some kind. So you have to be able to have something. You got to have something. Alrighty. Fantastico. Oh yeah, and this is a lot of common sense stuff, but what often happens with common sense? Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes it's just not so what? It's not so common. Sometimes it goes out the window, yes. So as far as using, when we're exploring and experimenting with these different programs, whatever you're going to be using, make sure that it works. It's compatible with your device. Before you spend hours figuring it out, look at the FAQ, look at the specs, the requirements, make sure it works with your device, whatever the case may be. All right. So yeah, we want everybody to feel comfortable on here. If you have questions, please email me, ethappy@fullsail.com. I am happy to help. Happy to help. Now, in our first assignment, which I'm going to be showing you a sample in a little bit, in a wee bit, just be patient, please. So you're going to be using some images, and all throughout the month, you're going to want to use copyright as much as possible, copyright materials, or at the very least, give credit to the image that you just used, right? So I'll show you again how to do that. Here are just a couple of places where you can find copyright-free images. There's Creative Commons, archive.org, Comfite. I mean, if you even just go to the Google and type in copyright-free images, you'll see even more websites that have that. Right? Okay, it's more scary time now, folks. I have to get scary again. I've been very harsh, and I have to get harsher because we're going to talk about college level writing standards. Yes, I need my Michael Myers mask on for this. It doesn't matter, Paul, that it's not Halloween yet. The God Hammer, I love it. Now, all right, for reals, let's get serious. College level writing standards. Please proofread anything that's graded. Now, in this session, in this chat box, I don't care if you don't capitalize the first word of your sentence. I don't care if you throw in a fragment. I don't care if you include a period at the end, as long as I can read what you're saying. But, however, whatever you turn in that is graded, proofread it, please. Spell check. That includes discussion boards. So for discussion boards, make sure you're spell checking, proofreading like no tomorrow. Right? That is important. Very, very important. I don't want anybody losing points because they didn't spell check or proofread their work. Now, it's not just this class. It's every class at Full Sail. Every class at Full Sail. They do expect that. So anyway, little heads up. Yeah. In the chat box, you can go crazy. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. So yeah, it's about professionalism and online etiquette. And hey, get back here. Okay, there you go. So yeah, you know that term, online etiquette. Yes, sending emails, messages when whether you're sending something to me, right, or a classmate. Now you're really gonna roll your eyes at this one, but. I'm trying to set you up. I'm trying to set you up with some good habits for your classes to come when you get to those the industry specific courses, whether you're in audio production, music production, whatever, film. When you get to those classes, your instructors will appreciate a simple greeting, a simple salutation. Hello, such and such, right? A little hi. That I'm telling you, it goes a long way. It really goes a long way. And at the end of your message, a little sincerely thanks. We are so accustomed to just text messaging. That is our culture. My wife is always like, "Why do you put a period at the end of every text message that you sent me?" I'm like, I don't know. I'm an English major. I double majored in college. It's just a habit. But yeah, when you're sending messages, a little greeting, a little hello, hi, and then at the end, thank you, sincerely, whatever, followed by your name. Now, this is a true story. This is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. I very often receive emails. In fact, I get hundreds of emails a day, but nothing makes Eddie develop an eye twitch faster than when I receive an email with no subject heading from an unidentified email source that I can't even recognize. I'm not even kidding. This is true. I'll get an email from, say, funkyredmonkey@gmail.com. And I'm like, should I open this? It's, it could be a student, but then again, it might be some kind of serial murderer trying to get my credit card and my organs. But anyway, it'll have that email address, nothing in the subject heading, and then I open up the email, and the only thing it says is this in all caps. It'll say something like this. And it turns out to be a student, but you know what? This doesn't tell me much. When I see this, first of all, I get very stressed out. I'm like, okay, I know this student needs help, but I don't know what they need help with. So just please, yeah, exactly. It's like you're yelling. It's like you're yelling. But if you send an email, a message, try to be as specific as possible, because I know you're emailing me about an issue. I know that you need help right away, but if you're not specific, if you're not detailed with your question, I can't help you. I can't help. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, it's true. It happens all the time. So please, proofread, right? So we have these two wonderful assigned textbooks called Resonate and Slideology. Knock it off, Paul. So I don't mind caps lock in the chat box, but yeah, on a discussion board and an email or message to me, anything graded, please. Yeah. I have very delicate ears. I need them for music. Anyway, back to Resonate and Slideology. These are the assigned reading from author Nancy Duarte, brilliant, brilliant woman. If you haven't already seen her presentation on TED.com, TEDtalk.com, you'll, first of all, the first time I saw it, I was like immediately impressed. She's a born speaker, natural presenter. But the way that she approaches presentations, that is the central reason why we got these books for this class, because the way that she approaches it is, number one, her emphasis on creativity and her emphasis on storytelling. You know, the days of where you're standing at a podium with a clicky and you're just clicking away bullet point after bullet point, and you're just showing and just spitting out, facts, or reading from your slides. Are you kidding me? Those days are gone, right? So she talks about how to utilize evocative visuals, because your audience is going to forget if you throw a wall of words on a slide. If your slides are just littered with text, they're not going to remember that. We're going to forget that. But what we will remember is a story. What we will remember is a powerful image. Powerful image. So yeah, that's why Resonate. So let's talk a little bit about image formatting. Check this image out. Now, notice the words I have on here. I don't have a lot of words. Now, first of all, you don't have to have words on your image at all. But if you do, first of all, make sure that your audience can read them. Second of all, make them meaningful, purposeful, right? Now, check out the image formatting. Notice the way this image has been utilized. It fills up the entire slide. It's not crammed to the corner or off center where we can see that it's a cheesy old, presentation template. No, it fills up the entire slide. So you always want to maximize the image as often as you can. Here's another example. Always be looking for crisp, colorful, vibrant images. Yeah? Stay away from clip art. Like the plague. It does draw attention, and that's what you want. You want your audience to remember what you just showed them. Right? Okay, so experiment. I don't want to hear Brianna. Clip art is awesome, though. We're gonna have a little conversation after this, Brianna. Oh, let me just explain. Clip art. If you're not familiar with clip art, you can do a Google if you like. You don't have to, but if you like, just type in Microsoft clip art. You'll get a good idea of what clip art is. It's basically really quirky, kind of generic um, illustrations, and the sole purpose is it's used for mass consumer use. Bring back Clippy. It can be. It really can be hilarious. But as far as memorable images, you typically want to stay away from clip art. You know what clip art is good for? If you're like, if you need to make some kind of coupon booklet at a flea market or something, then that's great. Have like a little stick figure with a light bulb over their head, 2-for-1 socks, or something. Sorry. Anyway, I digress. Let's take a look at our second go-to training activity. Now check this out. Very harmless activity, but I will need everybody's participation. Everybody ready? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a quote on the screen. I want you to read the quote and think about it. Think about it. Check this out. Here's the quote. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Education is the kindling of a flame, not the filling of a vessel. Think about that quote, folks. It's by Mr. Socrates. You're like, Mr. Eddie, that's Socrates? I know, I just like to say Socrates. Anywho, everybody got this quote in their head. Everybody, okay? All right. So I'm going to take this quote and I'm going to mash it onto an image. Now watch what happens. Boom. So here's what I want you to do. I want to hear from you what you think of the combination. What about this juxtaposition? How does this work for you? What mood does this evoke? Does it work? Do you think it works? Does the quote match the image? Looks like a meme. Okay. It fits, all right. Do you like it? Do you not like it? If so, tell me why. Explain to me. Doesn't work for you? That's okay. That's all right. Let me know why. Explain. Anyone? Gives off kind of like a motivator? Like, you mean like an inspirational quote? Not the visual I had in mind. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Helps provide a backing, gives context. Yeah. Good, good, good. It fits the quote, the time and such. Excellent. These are good responses. Thank you, folks. Thought of a fire being ignited. All right. A couple of us think it could be more powerful. You're at a loss for words. It works, but I do agree the image is just a bit different from what I thought as well. Okay. All right. Good. This is good. You guys are doing exactly what I needed. This is good. Thank you so much for these responses. It adds understanding to people who use visuals. Excellent, Meredith. Thank you. Education is knowledge. Yes, indeed. All right, now check this out, folks. Check it out. Everybody ready? What do you think now? Do you like this better? Do you think it works? Do you think it doesn't work? What mood? Okay, Amy says this is much better. Cool, cool. Very inspiring. I agree, Marshall. It has to start somewhere. Ooh, quite a few of you guys think this is better. Definitely more impactful. Fits well. More meaningful. Education and youth and progress. Good. Ooh, yes. Emotional side impacting more people. Meredith, yes, absolutely. I think you kind of like hit the nail on the head with that word. The key word there is emotion. When you can tap into someone's emotion in a presentation, then you can connect with them. Much more so than if you're just kind of like spitting out facts, spitting out dry facts at them, right? But emotion, it's kind of like a good film. Some of the best films, they tug at our heartstrings, right? Cool. I have to be honest, folks. I personally like this one better, and here's why. Here's why. Don't hate me. When I look at this image, I don't know this boy's story, but I know that there is a story here. Does that make sense? I know there's a story, even though I don't know his story, I know just looking at it that there is a story. That's the kind of image you want to present to your audience. That when they look at something, it makes them think, they remember it. It affects their emotions in one way or another. Maybe it makes them happy or sad or angry or inspired. Something is better than nothing, right? Right? So I do like this. I like the first one, but this one just kind of like reaches a wider demographic. You don't have to be in a certain perspective to appreciate this. How about this? Be honest. Let me know what you think about this one. Sorry, I almost spit out my coffee, and I can't help but do that every time I look at this. Yes, Bill, Bill and Ted. You just there's all right. So if you don't know who what this movie is from, who these characters are, what what tone does it evoke? Pretty completely different than the previous ones. Wouldn't you say? Yeah, absolutely. Amy, yeah, comedy, silly. There's definitely a comedic flavor there. Just by the clothes that they're wearing, their goofy grins. We have a kind of Doc Brown, wild, gray-haired, white-haired man there, philosopher, whatever you want to call him. It absolutely, yeah. In some ways, it does work though, but the mood, the tone is completely different. So the point of this exercise is number one, to show you how powerful of an impact your images have on your audience. Finding the right image is challenging. Finding the best image is really challenging. Now, it's really, really easy to find images. You just go to Google, type in any word you want, right? And you'll get thousands of images. That's easy. You can find like that so many images, but finding the right one, the one that tells a story, the one that has powerful emotions behind it, that is tricky. That is much more time consuming. But that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do to deliver an effective presentation that your audience is going to remember, right? Um, 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 um. How can you tell what mood to go with before, Marshall? And that's a good question. And that is actually one of the subjects that Nancy Duarte talks about in her text, "Resonate in Slidology." She talks about your audience, knowing your audience as much as possible. Know your audience, know who you are speaking to, know what they want, know what they like, know where they're from, how old they are, as much as you can. Because what sometimes happens is you can walk into a hostile audience and you could say the wrong thing, and then you're really in trouble. Anything and everything you say beyond that point, because you don't know your audience, yeah, it will not end well. So that is my answer to that one. Just know your audience. Do some research on your audience ahead of time. You'll be the better for it, right? All right, shifting gears a little bit here. So when you're uploading your assignments, try to upload one file only. Like for example, for the 1.4 assignment, try to have everything on one file. That way you're not uploading like 3, 4, 5 different separate files. Yeah, just a little tip there. And for your 1.4 assignment, um, Don't pick the first presentation that you see. Pick the one that intrigues you, right? Spend some time looking for the one that's really, really interesting. So on that note, who is ready to see a sample 1.4 assignment? Anyone? Oh, good, good, good. Okay, cool. All right, so let's try not to expose the background there. Okay, all right, so let's do this. Okay, so I have before me the instructions for the 1.4 assignment. This little baby right here, professional presentation analysis. Can everybody see that? Let me know, please. Okay, cool. That's a pretty awesome quote, by the way, by Maya Angelou. I learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. Oh, so genius. Jeez. Love it. Okay, check it out. All right, so the very first thing you do for this assignment is you go to this website. You don't have to do it right this second, but I'm just going to go over this with you guys. So this is the website that you will be using to complete this assignment. It's called TED.com. So you click on that, it'll take you to this website where they have nothing but TED Talk presentations on so many different topics, subject matters that you can possibly think about. What you need to do is watch a minimum of 3 different TED Talks. They can be about anything you want. Do they have to pertain to your degree program? They can, of course. For example, if you are in game art, anybody in game art? Game design? Anyone? Nobody? Oh, cool. Okay, so if you are in game art or game design and you want to watch some presentations on video games, well, you can. All you do, if you go to the TED.com website, there's a little search area, search field, and just type in the word video games. You will see dozens of presentations about video games. If you don't want to analyze a presentation on video games, that is fine. Just pick something else. That's totally fine. The same is true if you're studying music. If you're in music production, audio production, go to that little search menu on the TED.com website, type in music. Guess what? You will see dozens of presentations regarding the subject of music. All right? So it can be related to your degree program, but it doesn't have to. So like I said, find a presentation that interests you. Don't just like go to the main website and you say, oh, this got a lot of hits on it. I'll just pick this one. All right, so that is the first thing you do. Find 3 different TED Talk presentations. Okay? So as you are watching them, keep these questions in mind. Why was this presentation powerful or moving? Why did you like the presentation? Was the content alone? Or was it how the speaker delivered the content? What made the content appealing? What made it relatable? Have all of these questions in mind. You will be analyzing each presentation. Each presentation. All right? So that's the first thing you do. Pick 3, analyze 3, and then step 2. Create a document for this assignment and include supporting visual imagery. Whoa, Eddie. Slow down. What the heck do you mean create a document? Well, I will show you. When I say create a document, I simply mean use something like Microsoft Word. Open up a Microsoft Word document. What about visual imagery? What does that mean, visual imagery? Nope. Visual imagery, I simply mean pictures, images that relate to your presentation. So for example, if you watched a presentation on J.J. Abrams, maybe find some images of J.J. Abrams. to include with your analysis, right? That's all that means about visual imagery. Step 3, conclude your assignment with your own list of 10 qualities. So after you've analyzed all 3 presentations, at the bottom of your document, list out 10 qualities, techniques, and or presentation skills that you think make a good presentation. So in other words, after you watch all 3 presentations, come up with your own list of qualities that you think are important in a good presentation. All right, so let's say you watch all 3 presentations and you come up with this list and you're thinking, you know what? Number 1, I think the number 1 quality to have for a good presentation is passion. Why do I think that? Okay, explain it. And give me an example. Number 2, okay, I think the second most important quality for a good presentation is a sense of humor, right? Okay, jot that down and then give me an example. Those are just examples. You are not obligated to use them at all. I'm just giving you an example. All right? All right, so let's take a look at Eddie's quick and dirty example here. Everybody see this? Okay, so what you're looking at right here, this is Eddie's quick and dirty example of the 1.4 assignment. So you will notice that I used Microsoft Word. And like I said earlier, everybody now has access to Microsoft Word as soon as you open up your Office 365 account. If you don't want to use Office 365, like, I don't know, maybe you hate Word. Maybe you just hate Microsoft Word and you're like, no. You're welcome to use a program like Google Docs or Pages if you're a Mac user. The thing is, whatever writing program you use, you need to be able to include images. Cool? Anybody use Google Docs, by the way? Google Docs it's kind of like Word. It's kind of without all the bells and whistles. Google Docs is it's a free writing program. It's part of Google Drive. Anyway, it's pretty handy if you need something in a pinch. All right. Okay, so here's Word. So check this out. So what I'm showing you right here, folks, this is the bare bones of what your assignment should look like. It's up to you to make it look prettier, but at the very least, this is what it should have. At the very least, this is what your assignment should have. So at the top, you're like, of course I'm going to include my name. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you would be surprised how many assignments I get with no name on them. Very important. So make sure you include your name at the top. So let's write Eddie's name. Okay, got my name down there. Date. What's today's date? What is it? September. Can't spell. There we go. And assignment. Type that down. Type down the exact title of the assignment. So that information needs to be included at the top of every assignment. Sorry, you don't have to write Rick Grimes, please. I just so happen to be a Walking Dead fanatico. Don't hate me. Okay, so assignment. Make sure you title the exact name of the assignment, right? 1.4 professional analysis, blah, 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 okay? All right, so at the top, what I need to see is the title of the presentation. Whatever presentation you watched, I need you to write it down, the exact title. So here's what I have. Here's an example that I wrote. So I decided to use this presentation as an example. So it's on TED Talks. It's a really, really great presentation, by the way. It's called Why I Live in Mortal Dread of Public Speaking. Title of presentation, write it out. Name of presenter, write down the name of the presenter. In this case, her name is Megan Washington. Next, I need you to include the link. Copy and paste the link of that presentation. just like this. So that's important because you're going to be giving me an analysis of this presentation. It might be a really great presentation. You might be talking about it like it's the best presentation you've ever seen in your life. So I'm going to want to see it, right? All right. So title of presentation, name of presenter, include the link. Now I need you to write a short analysis. Give me a summary about what it was like. What was the presentation about? Write a paragraph explaining the presentation. What was it about? Use the speaker's exact name when you're writing your analysis. For example, during Megan's presentation, she blah, 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 blah. What you don't want to do is you don't want to write the speaker did this, the speaker did that, because I might not know who you're talking about at all. So write their name, please. Be specific in your analysis. Keith asked a good question. So what you're going to do is you're going to watch 3 different presentations and you're going to analyze 3 different presentations. So like this here. Bear with me. So this is analysis number 1. Now remember, I need to do that 3 times. So let's scroll down here. Don't forget about your image, the visual imagery. I need a picture. So here's what I did. I jumped onto the Google. I typed in Megan Washington TED Talk. I found a few images of Megan Washington here. So I threw that into my document. How many images should I include? I would say at least 2. You know, the idea is to make it look better than this. All right. Oh yeah, this is important too. Don't just take a screenshot. The idea is you need to make it look good. And most of the time, if we're taking a screenshot of a video, it looks a little pixelated and blurred, right? So look for high quality, crisp images. Yeah? All right. So that was our first one. So remember I said we need to do it 3 times. So scroll down to number 2. Number 2, title of presentation, write it out. Name of the presenter, write their name out. Copy and paste the link of that presentation. And then we need to analyze it. This one. We need to analyze the second one. So again, give me a short paragraph. Tell me what it was about, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, what you learned from it. Don't forget to include an image or 2. I would say 2 at least, right? Now, one more time. Number 3, title of presentation, name of presenter, include the link, and then your analysis. Does that make sense? Now, step 3, remember, was to include a list of top 10 qualities, your own list of top 10 qualities. So at the very bottom, look what I included, folks. You got to list out your 10 qualities from your perspective. After you watched those 3 presentations, come up with your own list, right? Now, I said list out 10, not 30, only 10. So look what I did here, for example. Number 1, I wrote humor. It's important to have a sense of humor for an effective presentation. And then don't just write humor, explain why you wrote humor. Give me an example. Like, for example, Megan Washington told a really funny joke at minute 2 and 32 seconds. Or J.J. Abrams was very interesting, blah, 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 blah. Make sense? So this is the list. Okay, so let me review a little bit. Okay, so let's go back to the top. Have I lost anybody? So 3 presentations. Analyze 3 presentations like this. Type out the title of presentation. Name a presenter. Include your link there. Analyze it. Short little paragraph is fine. Include a couple of images. Do it a second time. Title of presentation, name or presenter, link, analysis, a couple of images, a third time. After the third one, At the bottom, you want to include your list of 10 qualities. Only 10, not 30. Cool? All right. Is this everybody feel pretty good about this? This clear up some confusion? Oh, good, good, good. Yay. Okay, cool. Do we need to give credit for the images? That's a good question, Landon. Here's what I would do. Now, in this particular class, in creative presentation, you are not required to use APA MLA formatting for citing sources. However, I do expect to see at least a link from where you found the images. Right? I'm all about giving credit where credit is due. So if you use an image, just include the link maybe at the bottom of the document from where the original source of where you found that image. Does that make sense? Are the quality about the presenters or us? Like, it's kind of both. So in a sense, it's from you because it's your own opinion. Like after you watch the presenters, after you watch these three present presenters, sorry, you're coming up with your own list of 10 qualities. So in a sense, it should be about the presenters that you just watched. And keep in mind, now I've watched hundreds and hundreds of TED Talks. I've seen some that have moved me to tears. At the same hand, I've seen some that bored me to tears. Now you're going to get a wide spectrum. The cool thing about watching a bad presentation is you can learn something from it. Like let's say you watch a presentation and it's just so dry. It's so boring, right? Well, hey, guess what? You now have discovered a good quality to jot down, right? All right. Okay, so again, this is just the bare bones of your. It sounds really cheesy, but this is the meat of what your 1.4 assignment should look like. So, again, I encourage everybody to use a program such as Microsoft Word or Google Docs or Pages, some kind of a writing program that enables you to include images, right? Stop confusing me, Keith. All right. All right, cool. Cool. All right, let's check out discussion board, huh? All right. So move this over here. Okay. Now, there's something you should know about discussions. Discussion assignments. First of all, always spell check, always proofread, right? Very, very important. The second thing is in every discussion assignment, you will always have a series of questions to answer. That is very important. That's very important. So to start off with, for example, you'll have these questions to answer. Make sure you answer all the questions in your discussion. So as far as how much should I write in a discussion? Well, at the very least, make sure that you are answering each of the questions in detail. Don't just say, nope, yep, hate it, love it, great, hate presentations, bad experience. No. And here in this assignment, you know that cliche less is more, that doesn't count. We do not want to apply the less is more quote saying whatever for discussions. Here in discussion assignments, you want to make sure that you're answering every one of these questions. Now, whether you want to do it, question by question or in paragraph form, that's totally up to you. Totally up to you. All right? Make sense? That's very important. So number one, always spell check. Always spell check. Again, we're not text messaging here. We're writing sentences for a graded discussion board. So make sure you're using spell check, proofreading, and the other thing is you want to make sure you're really, really nailing those questions. Make sure you're answering all the questions in as much detail as possible. Now, so when is pop quiz? When is your first discussion post due? Yes, you are on it. Your first discussion post is due Wednesday. So your first discussion post. Now, Sunday is when you enter your reply posts. So the reply post, that's when you comment on something another classmate has said. So you just look for another classmate's post and then comment on what they said. Now, the idea here, folks, the idea is to spark conversation. Again, one word answers, one word responses. Hey, that's cool. I like that. You're wrong. Short fragments that doesn't really do anything. The idea, spark a conversation, give somebody some constructive feedback, right? Comment on what they said, share some insight. That's what we want. The reply posts are due Sunday. So first post due Wednesday, reply post due Sunday. Now, what about that 1.4 professional analysis assignment? When's that baby due? Yes, indeed. That is due Sunday as well. Correct. Yeah, you have it. You have up until Sunday. Now, what I like to tell everybody is I certainly wouldn't ever wait until Sunday to number one, start an assignment. I at the very least, give yourself a couple of hours prior to the deadline to submit it. Now, if you can submit it sooner than that, even better. Even better. Because what tends to happen when we wait till the last minute? Murphy's Law, right? Something bad, something evil always happens when we wait at the last minute. So yeah, if you can submit your work sooner than that, you'll be so much better. Cool. I said cool. I didn't say cool that time. So I'm good, right? Okay, cool. Darn it. Alrighty. So we talked about the 1.3 discussion board. We talked about the 1.4 assignment. We talked about time management. I tell you what, folks, at the end of the month, at the end of every creative presentation class, when I talk to my students and I ask them what was your biggest, nobody ever says, oh man, that program, that it was really hard to learn PowerPoint, or it was really hard to learn Adobe Spark. I was just having so much difficulty. Nobody ever says that. What they always say is time management. I wish I started my assignments sooner. I'm telling you, that is the big thing. That's the big thing. So you just got to find your groove, find when you work best, and do it. Can you guys hear me okay? Check, mic check. Then my audio cut out. All right. Well, usually what happens is sometimes during the live session, the audio might get a little bit glitchy. But usually during the recording, it won't. It'll be just fine. So I apologize about that. I apologize. Okie dokie. So any questions before we move on? Anyone? And look, I think it's safe to say that everybody feels a little better about these assignments. Yes, hopefully. Okay, good. Cool. Excelente. Fantastico. Sorry, I sound like Mr. Rourke. Or Khan. Excellent. I'm glad. That makes me happy. So yeah, keep attending these sessions. They are very, very helpful. If you notice that maybe a classmate has not been attending, let them know. Tell them they're very important. They are very important. I did run over the session. I apologize, Amy. I just really wanted to make sure that you guys saw those examples, and yeah, somebody was asking me about. Oh yeah, they're like, what should I call you? Should I call you Professor? Um, you know what? Eddie's fine. Um, Sir Edward actually has a nice, regal quality to it. So I like that. No, I'm kidding. You don't have to call me Sir Edward. um, you know what, folks? One thing I used to get a lot. I tend to get this quite often, is people say I sound like Hiccup from How to Train Your Dragon. At first, I thought it was really mean. You know, I was like, I don't sound like him at all. And then I kept getting students month after month that would say that. I was like, okay, fine. I guess I do a little bit. So, I just ended up embracing it. So whatever. Anywho, call me Eddie. Call me, I'm fine with that. Whatever you like. Anywho, as far as Rock Lee, you might be wondering about Rock Lee. Rock Lee, I kind of discovered Naruto from my students, from you guys. Month after month, I was getting. Actually, you'll discover this next week too in your assignment. Next week's assignment, you'll do an assignment where you have to talk about your favorite piece of art. So I would get this a lot of students were talking about this one show, and they would say this show changed their life. This manga series taught them all about friendship and courage and determination and all this stuff. And I was like, man, what is this show? I got to watch this show. And they, it was Naruto. They kept talking about Naruto, and I discovered Naruto on Netflix, and ever since then I've been a total Naruto geek and love it. Rock Lee is one of my favorite characters. Anywho, I apologize for nerding out on you so much. I'm terrible. I am terrible. But you know what? This brings us to the end of the session. I appreciate your patience, folks. Thank you so much for putting up with my voice, and again, I apologize for going over this long. All right, folks. Thank you so much. Get started on those assignments, and if you have any questions at all, etapia@fullsail.com. Take care, folks.